about the work that you do with young people?
Yes. So I'm a motivational speaker. I go around to schools, colleges, universities, churches, communities, anywhere basically where I can have an audience that I can inspire. So my workshops, my talks, my seminars, they all consist of bringing out the best in people, helping the individuals to move beyond their limitations and really become who they want to be, to really give life, the most that they can, to live life to the fullest so that they can excel and become unstoppable. So the work that I do specifically with young people is where we look at goal setting, we look at aspirations, we look at role models, we look at who they want to be, we look at their aspirations, because young people tend to just focus on today, not realizing that tomorrow is going to come and 5 years' time is going to come, and if you don't plan for that, then you're not going to have the structure that you need to. So I really go in and say, look, life is not a rehearsal. You only get to live this life once. What sort of life do you want to live, and how are you going to make that happen? And also I take my my kind of theme, no more excuses, around to the schools as well, to say no more excuses. There are no legit excuses that can stop you from being the best and being who you want to be. So I truly believe, and I share with them, that if they can develop the right mindset, the right attitude and the right belief system, then they will become unstoppable and become great role models to the next generation.
Where did you come up with the idea, no more excuses?
The idea actually came from my sister, because when I was writing my first book, which profiles different Afro-Caribbean role models, I thought, what could I name this book? And we came up with so many different names, and eventually we came up with the name No More Excuses. And it was just perfect because it just encapsulates everything which the book is about and which my message is about as well. And simply the people in the book as well were saying that they didn't make excuses. They didn't allow their past to become the reality, or they didn't allow other people's opinions to form who they were. They simply, set their goals, made up in their mind that they were going to achieve, and they went out and they did it. So to me, that's a message that says no more excuses. Young people, stop making excuses, just go out and make it happen. So that's where the title came from, No More Excuses. And since then, people call me the No More Excuses lady. I've formed workshops called No More Excuses because it's such a catchy phrase, but it means so much as well. Because to say to somebody, stop making excuses, initially they might think, I don't make excuses. And then when they think about it, they'll realise, okay, I have made excuses, or I am making excuses. And then when they look into the effect of those excuses, they'll realise, okay, this is why maybe I am where I am. And if I can push past my excuses, develop the right mindset, attitude and belief system, then I will, become unstoppable and, release the potential that's inside of me. So that's where it came from, and that's the message behind it.
I'm so glad you joined me today. It's in your story, that's what I'm all about. It's all about your story, how your story impacts the world. And I want to know a little bit more about Sotonye. We see you're out there, you're making a massive impact on young people's lives. But who is behind the Sotonye that we all see and hear?
Okay. All right, so my full name was Sotonye Deru until I recently got married, so now it's Sotonye Deru. Yes. And I studied law at Queen Mary University, so up to that time, all I wanted to do was to be a successful barrister or solicitor. My greatest question was, do I want to be a barrister or do I want to be a solicitor? I didn't have any thought of being a businesswoman, being an entrepreneur, working with young people. I literally wanted to do law, and leading up to that point, everything I did was about law. But then towards my final year, I realised that law wasn't the vehicle that I wanted to use to impact the young people or to impact the lives of the people who I wanted to impact and work with. So then I decided, okay, I'm going to finish law, I'm going to get my degree, and I got a 2-1, which was fantastic. But then I made a decision, let me take some time out before I continue with law to work with young people in any capacity, just to give back to them for a year. But then within that year, I then came to work as a youth worker. I then started working in my old secondary school. I then came to write my first book. And then since then, I've literally just been on this kind of roller coaster where I've been writing books, I've been running events, I've been launching several different businesses. So that thought of now going back into law, it doesn't really make sense anymore because of the new journey that I'm on, which enables me to impact lives and to change lives as well, which is what I initially wanted to do through law. So my background is law. Before that, I grew up in East London. I went to a secondary school where I actually got the second highest GCSE grades in my school. And I say that not because I was the most intelligent person, but because from that age, I determined within myself that I wanted to be successful. I had a great mother that, brought me up well, and I was planted in a great church where they taught us to be successful and be who God wanted you to be. So from a young age, I said, whatever I do in life, I'm going to be successful, and that's what led me to get the good grades at school, which led me to go to a good university, which then gave me the confidence when I chose to change career paths to still know that even though I'm not going down the law route, I'm still going to be successful. And a lot of times I share that story with people because it encourages them, because sometimes they think, oh, I can only go down one route, or this is what I have to do because this is what I studied. And I show them that actually no, at any point in life you can change your journey. It's all about the mindset and the attitude behind it that will determine whether it's a great decision or whether it's the wrong decision.
How do you cultivate the mindset to be the person that you've become?
Gosh, it's a lot of discipline, a lot of training, a lot of reading, a lot of attending seminars, workshops. It's just about investing within myself, because we're kind of programmed to think negatively. We're programmed to not see the great things about ourselves. If someone was to ask you, name 5 great things about yourself, you would struggle. But if they said, name 10 terrible things about yourself, you would give them 20. So I think we're naturally programmed to kind of not be positive and to be down all the time, to be honest. So I realised that I want to be a positive person. I want to be able to inspire and motivate others through my own journey. So from the age of 15, when I joined Bishop Ray Malcolm's church, who is a life coach and author, an amazing person, he started to teach us about mindset, about positive thinking, about self-esteem, about self-value, about setting your goals, about being accountable, about being disciplined, about developing habits. So from the age of 15, I started to receive those teachings, and that's what then made me realise I want to live this life. I want to be that type of person. I want to be a positive, inspirational role model. And in order for me to do that, I've got to live it, I've got to be it, and I've got to kind of have it as well. So it was from being planted in that church, receiving those teachings, and then obviously going to other seminars. So another one of my great role models is Danny Johnson, who's a phenomenal speaker with a phenomenal story. So I've gone to her workshops in America, and I've bought all of her books and her products. So literally I've invested within myself personally in order for me to know how to then show others how to invest in themselves.
And it's a never-ending process. Once we start this journey, every day we're trying to find how we can get better, because if we're not getting better, the people who we're training or coaching, they're going to supersede us.
Yes.
So how do you then guide the people or guide your clients in their own personal development?
Okay. Well, what's great is that personal development is personal. So I'm not going to coach somebody to be another me. I will coach them to be the best them that they can be. And I always say, what are your goals? So 2013, what are the goals that you want to achieve this year? What are the top 3 goals? What are the goals you have for the next 6 months? What are the goals you have for the next 2 years? And then within them setting their goals, we're then able to kind of shape the life that they want to have. So it's very much about, what do you want from life? Where do you want to be? What do you want to have? What sort of relationships do you want to build? What sort of wealth do you want to acquire? And then from hearing what their vision is for their lives, we then narrow that down into goals. Okay, this is what you want, then this is how you will do it. And as a coach, my role is not to tell people what to do, it's to facilitate a conversation which will enable them to come up with the answers that they then need in order to map out their journey. So I really do love coaching individuals, because it's just very much a big brainstorming session where we just have fun. We look at the goals that they want to achieve, and then we just literally put together an action plan. And there's never, I always tell my clients that I don't want to be your coach forever. I'm trying to equip you with the tools and resources and the mindset that you need so that you can then be accountable to yourself. Because if you're always accountable to me, then that's not what the goal is. The goal is so you can be accountable to yourself. When you set a goal, regardless of who knows about it, you're still going to achieve it because you know that you have to be accountable to yourself first and foremost. So they take up the accountability coaching with me so that I can show them how to be disciplined, how to be strong, how to map out their goals, and then how to achieve that. And then, they go on to greater things.